London, at 6 on a weekday morning. In another hour or so, the daily rush to work will be in full swing. But for some, the day has already begun.
Final call for passengers on flight BE038 to Paris, now boarding at gate number 10.
A typical start to a typical day. A day that will link over 10,000 people with a variety of different skills in the business of making and selling biscuits. Modern biscuit making is a highly ingenious blend of ancient practice and new technology. A continuous process that begins when the basic ingredients of flour, sugar and fats are automatically sifted and weighed before mixing to 100 different recipes. On every line, a different kind of biscuit, to be rolled and cut and baked. In all, 5 million biscuits an hour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And the weather for the southeast. Cloudy with widespread fog patches and the possibility of some rain moving in slowly from the west by mid-morning. Not much of a day, folks. Still, let's brighten up with a tune from the chart climbers.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard our flight to Paris-Orly. Our flight time will be about 40 minutes.
Associated Biscuits, good morning. Good morning. Associated
Hold
Biscuits.
on then, go ahead. Associated Biscuits.
Aintree you wanted, Mr. Whitehouse.
Head office, administrative hub of the group's UK and worldwide operations.
Oh, Janet, that order for Cyprus, you know, the one that's been sent and checked.
Every day a round of orders to process, problems to solve, customers to satisfy.
I'm looking at the samples of Persian sultanas you sent to me, Laurie. They're very good, excellent in fact, but not, I think, suitable for our use.
The baker, expert biscuit maker and head man on every production line. Years of experience now dedicated to one thing: quality. Quality, checked at every stage, from raw materials to finished product. Every kind of biscuit, all the time. Color, shape, crispness, texture, weight, packaging, everything. Best-selling biscuits don't just happen. They're created, away from the bustle of mass production, by people who begin by thinking in grams and dozens, not tons and millions. One man with one idea of what a good biscuit should be. A pinch of this, a hint of that. A kind of trial and error based on a lifetime's knowledge of the biscuit business. Familiar ingredients rearranged into a new recipe to meet a tight marketing brief and the changing tastes of the consumer public. To get it just right may take a few weeks, a few months, or even longer. Whether or not it'll become a family favorite, only time will tell. But in the first instance, the sharpest critics are always your own colleagues.
What do you think of that biscuit, Mr. Pitcher? Yeah?
This is the much better flavour, much cleaner. Comes through much more readily to me.
Overseas sales to nearly 140 different countries. The largest biscuit exporter in Britain.
The Japan order for Petit Beurre, it's ready now, and it should be on tonight's vehicle for you.
Ja, und 50 Barme.
More than 12,000 tons a year to ship to the farthest corners of the world.
Das richtig?
To deal with the company's 65,000 UK customers, 16 regional sales offices are connected direct to a central computer, the electronic servant of modern management, working round the clock to provide information, monitoring sales, planning production, invoicing customers, controlling stock. Over 130,000 tons of biscuits a year to distribute from 4 huge factories. 33 million separate cartons to make up into 1.25 million different orders. Perhaps for the shop just over the road. Perhaps for a large retail chain the other side of the channel.
Bonjour. Pour une fois, j'arrive à temps, n'est-ce pas?
A leading cocoa merchant in the city of London on a hectic morning. A familiar scene for senior company buyers. With prices fluctuating every minute, the knack is to know what's going on and buy at the best moment to cover the company's long-term needs.
Where? Hello? 29.30, 14.15 on March. It's Rayner's mob selling through us.
Oh, bonjour, Jean-Michel, s'il vous plaît.
Any chance?
But making a good deal is only half the job. You also have to judge what to buy, even when it's still growing halfway round the world.
That syndicate who Jim's got on the phone there, which come from Paris, and also some other commission houses, which is basically long liquidation.
Now is 304 Decembers, more than Marches for a change, total 624.
This is the sample of the beans you're delivering next week.
Yes, this is the 100 tons, which is off the River Benue. From
Nigeria.
Yeah, and this will go some into Caxton and some straight into Bedford.
They look all right to me. What do you think, Jim?
Well, I cut this parcel when it arrived, and it's come out a nice rich brown colour.
Yeah. They're good size, aren't they?
Yeah. It does look nice and bold, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, I think they'll be all right.
At Caxton's, a member of the group that specializes in chocolate production, over 17,000 tons of cocoa beans are processed every year. Chocolate for the firm's confectionery products. chocolate for other food manufacturers outside the group, and of course, chocolate for biscuits.
Une crise d'hémorroïdes peut être douloureuse, même si elle n'est pas grave.
Ah oui, le paquet de biscuits. Bon, il le prend. Très bien, merci.
The company's Paris advertising agency, and the first meeting of the day for the European marketing manager. With exports to the common market building up, regular trips to the continent keep the ball rolling. A new advertising campaign for France is presented for final approval.
Qu'est-ce qui se passe ensuite là? Là, on revient sur un plan plus général.
You remember, Dennis, we had some problems with the printing tolerances on this one.
Packaging, an art in itself, and a time-consuming exercise to get just right. At its simplest, a means of preserving the contents at the peak of oven freshness. At its most complicated, an item with built-in shelf appeal to attract the shopper.
I got another coffee pot.
Oh, that's good. That's a white one instead of a blue one. I think that would be an improvement. Anything that worries me a little bit is the biscuits, the shadow.
Altogether, the company spends about £1 million a year on consumer advertising, from television spots to glamorous spreads in national magazines. In Britain, biscuits are more than just an occasional treat. Only bread, butter, eggs and tinned meat sell in larger quantities, and the competition is tough.
I think that's very good.
Lunch hour, and a time to relax. Time for a game of billiards, or to enjoy a score of other recreational facilities provided for company members and their families. Time for a subsidized canteen meal, or time to catch up on what's going on in the world outside.
Good afternoon, Associated Biscuits. Just one moment, please. Oh, Mr. Johnson, you're called to Paris. Go ahead.
And then, back to business. The secret of a good biscuit is the highest quality wheat. And no one is better able to judge the character of a crop than the company miller. Thanks to the British climate, homegrown winter wheat has certain qualities that are ideal for biscuit making. A delicate taste and light texture that make it unique. More than 10,000 tons are harvested at peak condition to meet the company's yearly needs. Golden grain with all the natural goodness to be preserved in a range of fine biscuits. Biscuits of every description. Special lines for special people. For health food enthusiasts. For Weight Watchers, for diabetics. Biscuits, and even more biscuits. Over 60 different varieties to meet every kind of taste. A combination of the finest ingredients, mechanical ingenuity, and a little imagination. Such a wide variety of choice can have its problems for some people, but a range of assorted lines provide the ideal alternative. Every year, 11 million tins are made and packed with the most popular types of biscuit. Biscuits for morning coffee and afternoon tea. Biscuits for cheese or cocktails, or children's parties. Biscuits for everyone. By late afternoon, the day's production in each factory is ready for overnight distribution to 16 depots throughout the country. At the same time, some of the 200 local delivery vans will be making the final calls of the day to customers from Land's End to John O'Groats to keep the shelves filled in every major supermarket group in the country. To satisfy the needs of private firms, caterers, airlines, hotels and hospitals. Orders the size of a whole van load, or just a box or two for the village shop. France, and only a few miles left to the company's Paris depot. In a country where it's late night shopping every night, biscuits of any kind were at one time not to be taken too seriously. But times change, and the company's products are gaining more and more shelf room in a growing market.
Vous avez ensuite au raisin. C'est bon.
Promotions and hard merchandising may have played a part, but a good biscuit is the same in any man's language. And the French housewife is probably the most discerning in the world when it comes to food. Perhaps the biggest compliment of all is to find a selection of the company's products on sale at Fouchon in Paris, a food store with a worldwide gastronomic reputation.
Une boîte de biscuits anglais, c'est la souris, par exemple. On va te prendre là, voilà. Combien de poids? Oui.
Bien, merci messieurs, je crois que c'est tout pour aujourd'hui. On se revoit dans un mois.
With the French sales team briefed for another month and all the loose ends tied up at the end of a busy day, the only problem left is to make the airport in time through the home-going Paris traffic.
Monsieur Tucker, quelle est la date de votre prochaine visite à Paris?
Je crois le 24.
Ça sera parfait.
Très bien. Au revoir, monsieur.
Qu'est-ce que vous en pensez de cette fois-ci?
300 miles from home and the finish of another run. A typical end to a typical day. For some, a chance to catch up without incoming phone calls, people to meet, and the din of a busy office. No interruptions, no noise. But somewhere, the other side of the world, it's business as usual. And production continues to meet demand. 1,400 biscuits a second, 83,000 every minute, 5 million an hour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks every year.